around my third year, I was like, I don't know if I can take this anymore. People were just driving me crazy at work, and I was putting so much stress on myself that I didn't need to. I was just creating all these like scenarios in my mind that didn't exist.
What are some things that you remember uh, during those days when you were first getting into the trade that really helped you when you started your apprenticeship, like year one? What were some things that, looking back, if you could give advice to anyone on this call or anyone who's going to be watching later, who's maybe on the fence, they're not certain if they have what it takes or are unsure, what would you tell them to encourage them, but also to like keep it realistic so that they understand what they're about to get into?
So as far as like once I was in the trade, things that would have helped me, or just like explain the whole process of like how hard it is, or
Well, we could do it in pieces, but really, we're assuming that a lot of the people on the call already have an idea of a lot of the things. So mostly just tips on how to get through that entire process, for anyone who's considering getting into it.
okay. So basically when I started, I didn't really like look for any help to get me through. So I was basically just on my own. I didn't like look up any tips. I didn't like really ask anyone for any help. So I was just out there by myself. So I think it's really beneficial if people just like research online. Obviously, YouTube videos are helpful, which I try to help people with instructional videos, how-to videos, how to install stuff, how to explain how stuff works. So if you're looking at videos online, not just like through my channel, but anyone's who knows what they're doing, it's going to be really beneficial. You're going to be shaving a lot of time off of how to learn stuff in the field. So you're gonna have a jump on what to do. I think that would be a great start, just looking stuff up online.
So really studying outside of work is something that you would recommend. That's something that a lot of people talk about, where a really good apprentice can focus and work at the job, but then go home and the day continues. Like they open those books, they read the code, they watch videos. They really develop a habit of constantly learning. So that makes a lot of sense. Once you kind of get the ball rolling and you start figuring out how the apprenticeship's gonna work out, what are some things that helped you kind of stay consistent in the trade so that you wouldn't drop off or basically quit during that long journey to becoming a journeyman?
Personally, I just think for me, it was just like the willpower, just like knowing that if I want to stay in the field, I have to get my homework done. I have to do my assignments. I have to show up at work. I have to get my work hours in. So for me, it was just knowing where I wanted to be down the line. So I just had to stick with it. I think that's about it for me.
So it came pretty natural to you. Like it wasn't anything that you ever did, you considered quitting or anything like that. You just started it and it was something that you enjoyed doing.
I mean, there were times that were pretty rough that I did want to quit. I think it was around my third year. I was like, I don't know if I can take this anymore. People were just driving me crazy at work, and I was putting so much stress on myself that I didn't need to. I was just creating all these like scenarios in my mind that didn't exist. So I wanted to quit at some point, but then I was like, that would just be a complete waste of the 3 years that I just put into it. So I'm at least going to finish the apprenticeship, knowing that I finished it, so I can always go back to it if I want to. I'm not just going to waste 3 years of my time and then just give up. So that was at least motivating to get 3 years through it, and then just know that I could always go back to it if I wanted to. I just had to finish up the last little bit. So.
And during that time, did you have any kind of mentor, like around that time, that 3-year mark where you were just feeling, kind of run down? Was there anyone kind of guiding you at all, or no, it through your entire process, it was just you solo?
No, it was just me solo.
No one at work, like reaching out or anything like that?
I don't know if I ever talked about it at work. Nothing comes to mind. Maybe, I can't remember off the top of my head, maybe someone was there, but I really don't think so.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because that's why, with Upstryve, when we started Upstryve, we started with mentorship. Like, that was the first thing that we kind of put out there to let people know what we were all about, was that mentorship aspect. Because you're not the first person to say that, a lot of the people that we talked to mention how it was rough in those first like couple years. Everyone's so busy that they're not trying to mentor you. They just want to get you to the point where you do your job and do it well and do it fast. So they're not considering like, okay, let me put some extra time and effort into John so that he can really figure things out. It's just, I don't know that a lot of people don't want to. I think it's hard with the time, as you know, like time constraints on a job. There's always some kind of delay, or people are just under a lot of stress. So maybe they're not super focused on mentoring their apprentices. They just want to get them to a certain level. So we always promote our mentorship for that reason, because when you can't find it at work, you at least know that you could find it somewhere. And we have tons of electricians, electrical contractors that are mentors here at Upstryve that could help people like in that same exact scenario. So that's why I asked the question. I just want to get a gauge. I basically ask that question on every webinar to see how often people say yes. And I don't think anyone has ever said that they had a true mentor, like someone who they could go to with confidence and not feel like they were going to get in trouble or judged or slow a job down. So yeah, we definitely believe mentorship could be a game changer for a lot of people, especially around those times. Would you agree?
Absolutely.